everybody. Welcome to Meyer Studio Sketch Club. I am Cindy. This is my husband Jason. Thanks for joining us. We're taking over. Izzy has a little bit of a headache tonight, so she has given me the reins to do the introduction. So tonight we're going to be focusing on the cylinder in nature, and we're going to be doing 4 5-minute sketches. And before we get started, Jason is going to do an introduction and some notes on what we guys are going to be sketching. So, all yours.
Hello, everybody. So I thought we've been doing this for a little while, so I thought I'd give you a little more value in the introduction here. So if you guys are ready, let's skip over to the iPad and have a quick little behind-the-scenes lesson, if you will. Hello, Lori, Shakti, Janie. See all you guys. Good to see you. Good to see you. So as Cindy said, we're going to be talking about the cylinder. Okay? And nothing fancy, but what I call the anatomy of the cylinder is just what it's made up of. All right? And if we take a couple of lines, 2 of them to be exact, and we add that to a couple of ellipses, then what we're going to get is an ellipse, a line, an ellipse, and you got yourself a cylinder. Well, what's the big deal about that? I'm so glad you asked. You have no idea how glad you asked. But before we go into that, let's look at what the cylinder looks like when it's lighted. Okay? And in order to do that, we're going to need our help of our 4 friends that I'm always talking about. So if you hear me say number... where are we at? Up here. All right. So if you hear me say number 1 value, number 2 value, number 3 value, number 4 value, all I'm referring to is how light or dark these are. And the important thing is that number 1 is the lightest, number 2 is darker than that, but lighter than number 3, and number 3 is darker than number 2, but lighter than number 4. Right? So you just want 4 distinct values. Why? Well, it's pretty simple. If I have a field of white snow, it's a pristine field of white snow, so give me a second.
Is it chilly?
All right. Then right in the middle of that, you know what I'm going to do? Is look, watch. Look at this beautiful white bunny I'm drawing. Wait, you can't see it, right? It's not visible. Why is it not visible? Because white on white doesn't work. That's why you need at least 2, but we use 4 different what we call values. How light and dark something is. All right, let's see. So if we take that information and we come back to your question, what in the holy heck happened here? I think there's a couple of layers open that shouldn't be open. Let's see, how about we take that away? There we go. So let's try this one more time. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the cylinder in nature. What makes it natural? Simply curves, not straights. So we're going to take our straight gesture and lines, and then we want to give that more of a movement, or we want to curve them. As simple as that, okay? So we've covered a cylinder, the basic anatomy, how you build it, how we're going to light it, and then how you make them look more natural. What else do we have?
Do tell.
I don't know, honestly. I've forgotten. So let's look at tonight's reference. And first, can we get a cylinder to do that? Well, sure. Right? Maybe.
Like a noodle, a bendy tube?
Like a bendy tube.
So good vocabulary.
There we go. But we're just going to bend it, bend it, bend it, and bend it. Okay, well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, I'll tell you what it has to do with. It has to do with a rooster.
Hey.
And my goodness. Here we go. Do you see that? That, my friends, is a cylinder. And now this is a little trickier, doesn't it? Because it goes in like this, and it goes in like, and then it fits into a bigger cylinder, which is the body. So that's why this is so important. Well, yeah, whatever, Jason. Well, what about the next reference? You guys are just trying to get ahead of the class. All right, let's see. So, what do we have here? Well, we've got some crazy kind of motion here. What could we possibly be talking about? Well, we have around here what's called the Elfin Forest. And they're little short oaks. And they've got these gnarly little branches. But, just open another layer, buddy. It's not that hard. There we go. All right. Really? What's happening here?
It's the elves.
I can't mark on top of this.
Oh.
I can't mark on top of this because I'm below it, but now I'm above it, so now I can. Okay. These are nothing but cylinders. Right? Do you see that? Turning. And so every time it turns, the way the light hits it's going to change. But the structure of it doesn't. Okay, so reference number 2, the cylinder in nature. Huh? Bet you didn't have anything this exciting planned for tonight. Well, hold on, people. We're just getting started.
Uh-oh.
Yep. All right. So the cylinder in nature. How about reference? Reference number 3 tonight will be, the beautiful California hills.
Those are pretty.
Beautiful California hills. And let me go a layer above. So up front, hey, I'm a layer above. Why aren't you letting me go? Where are we? I'm not a layer above. Now I'm a layer above. So do big up front and then smaller as they go back. You're going to see me do this. And then look, it's just a little light there. The shadow rolls around. But they're not perfect tubes, are they? They come and they go. But it's still based on the tube. And so that's what we want to show. And we want bigger. And then next. And then make sure you go smaller. Smaller. Because that's how we show depth. All right. Near to far. Does anybody want to see reference number 4? Yeah, you do.
I do.
All right. Yeah, say show us so we can just paint or sketch. All right. So what we got here? Well, it's nothing but a tree. All right. Why don't we just come to the top and start adding a bunch up here? There we go. Now I'm on top of everything. So there's a cylinder. Then the limb takes off, a smaller cylinder, and then that splits into what? Smaller cylinders. Then this splits into what? Smaller cylinders. Then splits into what? Smaller cylinders. You guys feeling a theme here? Feeling a theme? I know you do. So number 4 is just a complete tree. Now, we've only got 5 minutes of reference image tonight, so you're not going to have time to complete these. But again, I want you to see how I'm looking for these overall shapes. And based on the cylinder, I don't sit there and draw cylinder after cylinder after cylinder. But by seeing these things through the lens of the cylinder, it helps me get control of it in my mind, so then I can manipulate it. Right? I mean, who doesn't want to manipulate things? Everybody does, right? All right. So I know that was a little fast and furious and probably, what, twice as long as usual. But see if you can understand that that's what's underneath the drawings now. Mm-hmm. All right. Should we get started? What's going on here tonight? I've had my head down.
Claudia joined us. Susan's here. They're wishing Izzy to feel better.
Oh, yeah.
And hugs. We'll definitely let her know. Yeah. Yeah, she had a little headache.
Yeah,
so we said,
got a little headache tonight.
Take it easy. I'll try to fill her shoes.
She'll love to know that everybody's thinking of her.
Of course.
All right, you guys got your stuff? Anything else, Mama?
Nope. I say let's sketch.
Let's sketch. All right, so we're going to start. So we almost got clever tonight. We were going to tell everybody they were chickens. And then we go, wait a minute, that's a rooster. Well, I said, then we can call everybody, and Cindy said no.
No.
So that was our excitement tonight. But you see, there's the gesture that I'm going to build the cylinder around. And then I'm putting that little circle for, I don't know technically what it is, but his head, his little head in there. Right? His eyeballs sit in that. And then we'll have to talk about it another time, but I'm taking this cylinder and then I'm making sure that it's full. In other words, it doesn't look like caved in. And that's why I keep doing these outward facing curves. Curves are natural.
Oh, it's a chicken. Okay, we weren't sure. I knew they had the red on the cones.
Oh, it's a chicken. Oh, I blew my advertising opportunity. Oh.
Well, when we do it again for 10 minutes.
All right.
Say, don't be chicken. Come and sketch.
Well, that's exactly why I'm an artist and not a farmer. So it looks like I've made good choices on that.
Thank you, Susan. We always can rely on Susan to make sure we're depicting the animals correctly.
Yeah. Yep, I better stick to subjects I know. Calling roosters chickens and chickens roosters. Anywho, so now what I'm doing is I'm kind of finding the beak, the beak and the head. But you'll notice that I'm going to come back and have to correct some of this. So I'm using light marks, and I'm not trying to be perfect, but I'm trying to see how it all fits together. And if something's a little bit off, I don't go too far chasing it. Just slow. Let's get the big stuff in here, and then Tuesday or Thursday we'll come back and I had all rooster stuff going. Now I gotta switch to chicken, and I'm all stumped. Ugh.
Sorry.
So we'll get all kinds of chicken stuff going.
Yes. We can always count on Susan.
Yes. I love having Susan here.
She is a reference.
Yes.
Plethora of knowledge in animals.
They have comes too. Did you put that up there?
I don't remember.
Oh.
We'll put that up.
Yeah. So,
Oops.
Anyway. So we learned that chickens have, what do they have?
Combs.
Combs. There you go.
Okay, no, I don't remember. Combs on the top, Susan, or on the bottom? Or is that considered both? I don't remember. I don't know.
I was busy breathing charcoal dust, so. Busy. And so what I'm doing here is accentuating a couple of forms where I'd like the viewer to focus.
Top. Okay.
His top is the comb.
Got
there
it.
we go.
Thank you.
There we go. And again, I'm a little overconfident here because those are a little dark. A waddle.
Waddle.
Yes.
I love that.
Broadcast that.
Bottom is called a waddle.
That is my catchphrase this week. The bottom is called a waddle. I love it. So I want more of a definition, Susan. So I'd like, if you could, illustrate the waddle for me.
That's like the ladies call their turkey neck.
But whether it's the cylinder or the flat or spheres or cubes, everything I'm looking at in nature, I'm trying to see in simple geometric forms. Because if I can see it simply, then I have power over it. I can control it. I can manipulate it. I can design it. Yes, that's a long I. Design it. A long I. Very long I. All right. And if we're killing you guys, just, mute us. It's all right. Because I don't think we're going to stop. This is bothering you. This might be a long night for you. Sorry. All right.
We're punchy.
A little punchy. So these are 5 minutes, not very long. So I got a dark against the light here. And what I'm going to do is just kind of even everything out and get it ready for my next time around because we're running out of time.
This is hilarious. Shakti says, this chicken business is not as easy as it looks. Ellie says her drawing is an abstract. That's awesome. Yay, Ellie. They're all individual.
All right. I hate to do this, but I guess I'll give a little of my secret away. So if you're not confident about your drawing and stuff, like you don't think your chicken's very good, well, then you just have to engage the viewer's other senses. So, well, what do you think about my cock-a-doodle-doo? And you've shocked them, and now they're looking at you, and they were trying to get away from you. Boom. Oh, yeah, he had a great drawing of a chicken, but he's a little weird. So that's always been my strategy. So here we go. Gnarly old tree.
Izzy would have died.
I'm sure she's in there dying. She can probably hear us.
She's like, what's Dad doing?
All right. So all those years of charcoal dust. So I'm not trying to copy this one, but I got a big C shape, and then we're gonna come up off of that. And can you see I don't necessarily draw the cylinders, but look at how I'm just kind of letting my pencil ride over the top of it. Look how effective that is in really, quote unquote, painting the picture. Ba-dum-bum.
You're on fire.
I'm tired.
I know.
Yeah.
Please send it.
All right, now we're talking chicken impressions, so there we go. But cylinders everywhere. But look how quickly and easily we can get like a three-dimensional thing going, and then we can control it. And what I'll tend to do is let me get the big movement in there, and then as you'll see, we'll come back and make it more Elfin Forest like, tree like. Right now it's just kind of generic, almost a Willy Wonka chocolate factory kind of tree, and that's so fun. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm going into that paper, coming out and around that branch, right? Thinking three-dimensionally, feeling three-dimensionally. If you want the viewer to see it, right? You've got to be able to see it. So now we're going to apply some light to it, coming in as a diagonal. And again, with my knowledge of how cylinders work, with how they're facing the light, I can change the light dark pattern here and show these cylinders standing up and laying down towards the top and dropping down towards the bottom. And that shadow size is going to change, and sometimes it'll switch which side it's on. And that's how you get trees looking alive rather than kind of dead and stick figure looking, right? As you understand the cylinder and then you apply the shadows to it. And I know it's still Willy Wonka. Give me just a second. We'll come in at the end and we're going to clean this up a little bit. Sprinkle a little tree dust on it. Boom, a cast shadow. A cast shadow. What's a cast shadow for? Bam. You see how that instantly made that solid? Just wrapped right around that thing. That's how you want to use cast shadows in portraits, especially, to really build the form. And now we got our soft edges on the inside of the form, and then the hard edge will be where the form starts and stops. And once you build a couple of these, then these kind of abstract marks the viewer will read that as three-dimensional, because you've suggested enough three-dimensional, right, that the viewer's mind now is seeing that way too. So if you have just a few two-dimensional marks, the viewer will even register that as three-dimensional. I told you, we're manipulators. Manipulators. Dang. Dang, dang, dang.
We're magicians. Working some magic on it.
We're trying to get the blood pressure up. Manipulating. They're going to remember us better. If the higher their blood pressure, the more they remember.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's adrenaline, not blood pressure. All right, my bad. Gotta go back. Those little details. All right, so look how easy now I can come and manipulate the outside. Or what was the word you wanted me to use?
Magic.
Oh, well, that's not magic. It's manipulating.
Yeah.
So.
Yours wins.
Well, in this one, you had a good point earlier. And then, like within 5 minutes, look, we've got a gnarly old tree. And the beauty of this is after you understand this is you can take anything and put it in your imagination and then draw it. You don't have to have it in front of you. So it's very, very freeing. Oh, enough for the gnarly old tree. Let's see. So where are we going now? Ooh. The hills. And this one was sent, so those two first ones were from Susan. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
And this one is from Claudia. I cropped it down a little bit, so if you don't recognize it. But we just have big cylinders kind of laying on their side. Now they're rippling and they're right and cutting. But again, if I think about the big forms of the cylinders, it'll really help me simplify the scene, which gives me control. You guys know what a control freak I am. I need control. Right? No. But all artists need control of what's going on. And once you realize how long it can take to do some of this, you got to be efficient. You don't want to waste any time. Oh, getting all this detail. Oh, I've got to move all these hills down 1/4 of an inch. But you've just spent 7.5 hours putting all that detail in there. Here you're spending almost no time and quickly seeing the big finished result. Right? And that's the goal of what we're doing here, is to register this stuff, see it simply, and then quickly get something down to where you get an overall feel for it. So we can say, ooh, I like this, but I need that first one to be twice as large. Ooh, I like this, but I need that first one to be twice as small. Right? It's just, it helps you it seems to take a little longer, but it really saves time in the end. Because by the time you get to your work, you've got your thoughts really clarified. And not clarified in some, ethereal way, but clarified in dark value, gray value, number 4, number 3, number 2, number 1. Why do we want them clarified in those terms?
Why?
Well, you know what Fancy Pants needs. Fancy Pants needs control. Control. If we think we can control a number 4 value, we can control a number 3 value. So, no sense in spending too much time on things you can't control. So we want to ask, what can we control? And that's what Cindy's thinking right now. How can I control him? How can I simplify him down so that he's controllable? I can read your mind. I know what's happening.
Well, truth be told, I actually had Janet Jackson's Control in my head.
Oh.
But I'll take yours because that's pretty funny. And then I can slip out the side door because you brought it up, not me.
All right. So now I'm just applying the light shadow pattern as they would apply to cylinders here in this case. And it's kind of hard to believe this can work. But the weird thing is if you'll let go of what you think you're seeing and grab on and start creating these three-dimensional forms, these little cylinders and spheres and cubes, man, before you know it, they're going to be, boom, the whole natural world. And you'll be magic. Magic. So you'll need a cap, a big hat, and a rabbit, lots of colorful scarves. If you're good, maybe an agent. I don't know. And then with everything, as I go back into space, the darks are darker up front, and then the quote-unquote white is whiter or lighter up front. And then the next hill, the dark isn't quite as dark as the front one, and the white isn't quite as light. The third hill, boom. And then what'll happen is the white and the dark get closer and closer as you go back into space. And if you do that in combination with the size of the hills, again, in combination with the size of the hills, regardless of what you see, then you'll be in control. But if you're copying, you can't be in control. Does this sound like I'm yelling? I feel like I yell. Like I come in here and I yell.
You're forceful.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I need to chill out.
What's that control?
It's true. She cut bang, dang, ouch. Man.
Just kidding.
Finally get a clear shot of yourself and you're on live TV.
I'm kidding. Oh my god.
What does he say? Oof.
Oof. I'm gonna show oof. Just be like, you got oofed.
All right. So you guys are busy sketching now, but I would like to hear when we finish up if this idea of cylinders, if that makes sense to you. After talking to a few people, I feel like I was talking over people's heads, or a lot of people's heads if you haven't been studying with me. And so I want to try to bring it down because the things I'm talking about aren't that complicated and they're very learnable. But they take a little time to explain and teach, and then it'll take a little time for you to try to understand it and to practice it. But if you got a little time, a little room for some understanding, boom. You got it.
Get that dust off there.
Yep.
Claudia, the snorting is the most fun part of the evening. I totally snorted.
Well, so I was wrong. This is cylinders and how self-conscious can we make Jason of himself tonight or weak?
I snorted.
Oh, I was just snorting too.
Oh, well, I know.
So we're
I usually don't. But
we're meant for each other.
yes.
Oh, wait a minute.
Hey.
The heels are gone. So I'm showing you my dirty hands there. And I was doing that for a reason, because if the hands get dirty enough, you can actually use that kind of smudge things out. But mine weren't dirty enough, so I guess I bathed too often. This snorting thing's getting too many likes. That's making me nervous.
Oh, they love you.
I thought everybody was here for the drawing. Turns out it's just the noises I make.
It's an extra bonus. See?
You
both snort.
Stop it, Claudia. You're killing us. Oh my gosh. Snorters.
Yep. We keep it real.
We'll have to change the name. The Snorter Sketch Club.
Oh my God.
No, that sounds
that
bad.
sounds bad. That sounds
Oops.
really bad.
We're going to get the wrong crowd in here. People can be drawing really fast. Can we take it down to 15 seconds?
Yeah, no.
Again, so I'm not necessarily making every cylinder here, but I'm thinking about how the light would hit a cylinder if it was in that, and I'm thinking about the size, going smaller as it goes out. Smaller as it goes out. Oh my God, this is killing me. Now I'm afraid to breathe.
That's perfect.
Oh, geez.
Tom just got here, so did Michael. Hi, Mike.
Oh my gosh. Hey guys, what's happening?
We're discussing snorting.
Okay, you did not have to bring them into that, but that's all right.
Oh.
Izzy! Izzy, I need your help.
That's funny. Okay. Whew.
So again, I'm not trying to get everything done at once, but if I can get a sense for the overall, and again, it's not perfect, I can change it as I go, and then you get a little of, how are we going to say? I don't want to say details, but character, what makes it characteristic? Like what makes the tree characteristic? Well, it's a single stem. It's a smaller stem, smaller, right? This one's pretty straightforward. Some trees are different. So we just want to try to sense that pattern. And once you kind of understand that pattern, then you've got the freedom to, what do you do to it?
Control.
You weren't even listening. You were hoping I was going to snort again. I know you. I was going to say manipulate. I thought you were going to say manipulate because I said it so many times, and I was going to say, no, you can change it.
Oh, gotcha.
But
okay. Well, you sound control a lot, too, so I was...
That's true.
Which one to pick?
I know.
I get it.
Okay, so we're looking for joke writers, if anybody's got some extra time out there. Michael?
Michael's here.
And remember, your eraser's the tool. The eraser's the tool I use to get value number 4. If you came in late and if you're not sure about my language that I use, I gave a little more thorough introduction today and talked a little bit about the 4 values I use and what that means. And then also a basic introduction on the cylinder. And this week we're going to talk about how the cylinder in nature and using that to help us create and design what we're sketching, so that we're not so locked into or handcuffed to the reference, right? Or to what's right in front of us. If we can understand some simple forms, you'll be amazed at how powerful you become. You can have people all over the internet laughing at your snorting laugh. Magic. And then notice how I can use that stump too with the dark to kind of push things out, so it doesn't always have to be like a hard line. And since that's a little less, that's almost perfect for those ends that aren't quite as dark as the innards. Right?
To me, that looks very like whimsical.
Whimsical. I'm a whimsical. They called me whimsical, fancy pants whimsical. What else was I doing? Manipulator. Yeah. What makes it look whimsical to you?
I don't, because it's so soft.
The softness.
Yeah.
That idea of softness, and I usually refer to it as edges, versus these harsh lines and endings, it really can make all the difference in the world. So it's real important to play with that a little bit. Let's see, are we out of time? We're out of time. That's it.
Out of time.
So that was a quick 20 minutes, unless you were completely self-aware and self-conscious about what you were doing and sounding like the entire time. Then in that case, it might have been stretched out a little bit, but glorious, just right. Thank you. All right, so let's have a quick review. And while we're looking at this, you guys were probably busy drawing, but this is a great time to kind of, you can see the cylinders in action. All right. And that just helps me keep everything together, because it's so simple to kind of see it as an underlining, and then I just go on top of it. So a lot of times it's more in my head than on the paper. Here it's a little bit more on the paper. Again, this is such a fun exercise, especially in the winter when the trees are bare, right? Pick out a little section and do this. Think about cylinders, and then make it sexy or gnarly at the end. You know, how is it Is it a graceful tree, or is it a gnarly old bent up tree? Is it short and stumpy or long? Hills are the same thing, just cylinders on their side. And what do we have here? We got tree. Big cylinder. Let's go to a bunch of small cylinders. Now, like always, the reference images can be found on the website at jasonmeyer.com. So this week's images, if you go to Sketch Club, hover your mouse there, you'll see, what's the title? Reference Library. Click on that and it'll take you to the images. Click on the images and they'll get bigger. Click on them again and they'll get even bigger. And then there's a magnifying glass at the top. Click that if you want it even bigger. But that's there to use, and we keep it up there all week if you'd like to reference it. What else we got, baby? Anything?
No, that's it.
No, we covered it all?
We did.
Excellent. All right, so let us know what you think about the cylinder, if that's helped out, or if I spent a bunch of time for no good reason trying to be helpful when I could have just been snorting and everything would have worked out fine.
If you haven't already, please like this video and like our Meyer Studio page here. Also, if you have not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can find us over there. This video also plays over there as well, and you can control the speed and a better definition as well. So, thanks for joining us, you guys.
All right, everybody in class, we've got color mixing in the morning on Zoom at 9 a.m. I hope to see you guys there. Have a good week, everybody. Bye. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.